The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. Well, hello and good evening, good people. It is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Welcome to the only show about Spartan Dawgs, hosted by Spartan Dawgs. This is Sparta MSU. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, Jehuu Caulcrick. Yes, sir. If this is your first time to the show, we want to welcome you. If this is not, we absolutely thank you for your loyalty. It doesn't go unrecognized. And listen, we need you to hit the like and subscribe buttons and make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms at This is Sparta MSU. And let us know where you're watching from. Let us know. And listen, big weekend, all kinds of activity. We are still welcoming the new coaching staff as it's still formulating and the portal's open. How was your weekend? Let's start there.
My weekend, first weekend off we had.
Yes.
So first weekend of not broadcasting Spartan football. It was good. Laid back. Ma Dukes, she made a little quick stop here for the weekend and enjoyed some family. Kicked back, watched a lot of football, watched the conference championship games. A lot to dissect in that.
Conference championship weekend. That's what we just had. Ma Dukes was there enjoying the grandbaby.
Yeah, she was.
I know that's right. Look, we got a jam-packed show. We've got 247's own Corey Robinson that's going to be joining the show to talk a lot about that transfer portal and everything that's going on there. But let's jump right into it, Chew. Let's get to it. Transfer portal update. There's going to be lots of names that have already entered the portal. As of 8 a.m., let's see, as of right now, let's see where we are. I think there's a list. Do we have a list of all the players that are in the portal right now? But look, the overall portal, we have over 1,080 names now in the portal. Scholarship players, 530 of them. Like when you see this, Chew, what comes to your mind?
Times have changed. There's, 1,080 players in the portal, 530 in the portal. It baffles me. I don't really consider it a transfer portal problem. I look more as a NIL guideline problem because some of the guys that are in the transfer portal, you got starting quarterbacks from big name schools, from Ohio State. Those guys are the ones that are in the transfer portal as well. I don't look at it as the transfer portal. I look at it as a NIL, thing. It's really, truly free agency.
So you're suggesting there's a lot of guys that aren't necessarily unhappy with the situation that they're at right now and playing time as evidence of starters at Power 5 schools going into the portal. It's just a way for them to test the waters and see what else is out there. I mean, we've heard reports, $1 million offers left and right for quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Rule came on. He said it, if you want a good quarterback, you're going to have to throw out $1 million, $2 million to get the end. There are schools out there that are doing it because of the fact that the pressure now that's formulated on head coaches, not only from the fan base, but also the donors, the athletic directors, the athletic departments of the win now culture. That's what's happening. And that's what's going on. So these coaches are, going out, reaching out to players, that are in the portal, hey, come to our school, we'll take care of you, because you can be the big buzzword going around now is being a plug and play type player now.
Mm-hmm.
But what that's doing as well, and I know it's early in the portal season, but
only 24 hours open.
Right, but it also really hurts those high school guys as well. Not the 4 stars, the 5 stars, the 1 star, the 2 star, those guys that built a great foundation at Michigan State that help, with, CFP runs and Rose Bowl wins, the Le'Veon Bells, all those guys. It hurts at the high school level as well.
No doubt about it. When we look at development in the quarterback position, there's one name in East Lansing that everybody has their eyes on, because after losing 3 scholarship quarterbacks to the portal, is Aiden Childs, quarterback out of Oregon State, who is now listed as the number 2 player in the portal in the nation out of all 1,080 players.
Yeah, that's really big. That's a guy, once he entered the portal, that's when I really dug deep and was watching some film on him. A true dual threat quarterback. He's a guy that can hurt you with his legs as well as his arm, and put in a good system. I think he can, really excel. He's a quarterback that when he's on the field, a defense truly has to play 11-on-11 football.
No doubt about it. I mean, this is a guy who, as a true freshman, showed a lot of moments of just pure electricity, and he's hit the portal. And if you bring that graphic back up, when you see the top ranked players, look at number 2, Aiden Childs. It says 100% chance for him to go to Michigan State. And rather than continue to go through all this speculation and talk about it, we got to bring the pro on.
Well, before we bring the pro, let me give my choo-choo crystal ball.
Give me the crystal ball.
Choo-choo crystal ball says Mr. Childs is 100% in for Spartan. That's the
100. Is that what the choo-choo?
Choo-choo crystal ball. Not Mario crystal ball.
Not Mario. Not to be confused. You're going to take a knee, aren't you? You will take a knee. You are not running that ball and risking losing the game. All right, listen, at this point, we got to bring him on. 247 Sports on Corey Robinson joins. This is Sparta MSU. Welcome back. Corey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys been?
Oh, man.
Corey, getting any sleep?
Not much. No, get a couple hours and then wake up, look at my phone, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then go from there.
I'll tell you what, man, you answer the text no matter what time of day it is, because, I'm on a different time zone than you, and it doesn't matter. You're boom, right back at it, because you have to be. That's your job. Yeah. Tell me how it's been since, there was a lull in recruiting for a while there after Miss Mel Tucker was fired and Harlan Barnett took over. Since then, the season has ended. New coaches in, offers are going all over the place. They're going to make sure that they can secure this 2024 class. And now with the portal open, talk a bit about what is going on in Atlanta, Michigan State football recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on your show, where we said, hey, we just got to make it through this. We got to make it through Thanksgiving. Like, nothing before that really matters because everything's going to change. So now that we got there, first, I'd say Alan Haller. I thought that was a really great job of him to get him done on Saturday before all of those jobs opened on Sunday, or potential jobs. So, I mean, to get your top guy before the market really opened, that meant he didn't waste that head start that he had, because although you had 2 months to vet stuff, all it took is 1 or 2 teams to stop it all, and then you're starting and waiting for him to wait on these other coaches too, or other jobs. So good job there. And then it's just back to the excitement in the program, because things matter again. Like, the coaches that were here did a great job, but there's only so much you could do if the player knows you're not going to be there, the recruit. So it's good to have the energy back in the program and just kind of see where it goes with him. But just so far so good. He's making a lot of positive impressions from guys in the state of Michigan and Midwest, just with the way he's made it a point to get to know them, the football coaches in the area and the players. So,
on that, so we're looking at what is the mode of operandi for this staff? Are they looking to secure the current high school players? Is it more of a portal focus right now? What are you seeing as you get to know this new staff coming in from Oregon State and beyond?
Yeah, I think both. Honestly, I think they're doing more high school than I thought they would be able to do coming in this late and being new to the area. I thought it was going to be a little bit more transfer portal heavy, but they're give them credit. They're doing a great job of getting to a lot of the high schools. I think they're at Portage Northern tonight with Jaden Walker, the linebacker who's committed. They been to the east side. They saw Nick Marsh the first night, that their first day they could last Friday when it opened. Jonathan Smith and the running backs coach was there. They've been to Cass Tech. They've been to Clarkston, I believe, or that's coming up to go see Stevens. But yeah, they're getting around. They're reaching out to the guys in Ohio. They've been to Indiana to go see a quarterback, a 2024 quarterback, Cherry, so Tyler Cherry. So they're getting out there. I think they're going to sign more high school players than I realized. I mean, I even heard today they were up in the UP, Sault Ste. Marie, seeing a defensive lineman who's committed to Northwestern. So I mean, they're going to get it. I mean, whether what they get in the small window remains to be seen. But if they attack the way that they're attacking, then it's going to bring them success. Because that's what I think stands out the most to me is they're looking at everybody. They're not looking just at the top. They're mining everything, even though they're in this short window, and just trying to find if they can find that guy that others miss. Because you see it every Sunday. You turn on an NFL football game. There's guys all over that roster from schools that you just don't think about with football. So they seem like one of those staffs that they're trying to make sure they don't miss that guy if at all possible.
Yeah, you talk about that, and getting acclimated with the state of Michigan. I think that is really important. And no matter what you do, it could be, and if you have a job in sales or coaching, recruiting, you have to own your own backyard. And I like that strategy that the Spartan coaches are doing right now. But I think a big need, and it's something that they need to address, rather, going forward here, and maybe you can shed some light on this, Court, is a lot of people want to talk about the defensive side of the ball here. With that, we have a bunch of players that enter the transfer portal. Majority of those players were offensive players that we see in there. All three quarterbacks left. We had three linemen that were in there. There was a sprinkle of defensive guys in there. A lot of the defensive players currently right now, I'm assuming, are holding steady to see who the defensive coordinator is going to be coming in. There are some, I've heard three names has been kicked around there. Two of them, Mike Tressel is one that's being kicked around, and Jim Leonard also being kicked around. What are you hearing about the defensive coordinator position for the Spartans?
Yeah, they're doing real good at keeping it quiet. I will say that. I was getting more from the head coaching stuff than the defensive coordinator. But yeah, there's some guys out there. I've heard Leonard Tressel, Jimmy Lake, who was at Washington. I think now he's with the Rams right now as an assistant. He's someone that you kind of look at. I think they looked at Cote, who ended up getting a head coaching job. So yeah, we've heard leaks, but not a ton of stuff that's you can you might hear the Lake stuff in one avenue, but then you try to go to a different checkpoint and they're like, oh no, we haven't heard that yet. So they're doing a good job of keeping it quiet for sure. But I think obviously they want to get that guy in if possible. I would like to think they'd get it in by this weekend if in the perfect world, but definitely definitely the weekend after that, because that's a pretty big visit weekend. And plus, like you mentioned, guys in the portal or guys that are not in the portal are going to want to know, who am I going to play for and who's the defensive coach. So like right now they're doing a good job holding it together while they figure that out and get it official. But yeah, it's got to be something that's got to get done, obviously, for some of those players that you've heard that are kind of teetering on what they're going to do. But yeah, I think it should be in the next few days in the perfect world, though.
You know, on that, because you're talking about the defensive coordinator, you know, sure, you brought up not many defensive players have gone into the portal, and you can see it on the crawl underneath us right now. You see guys like Zion Young did hit the portal along with Derek Harmon. Darius Snow is a guy who went in there. Those are the three different defensive players that come to mind right away that have gone into the portal. There are a lot of guys that are kind of playing that wait and see. And in the opener, we talked about, you know, why guys do go in the portal. Is this, hey, you know, I can't imagine Derek Harmon and Zion Young are upset about their playing time at Michigan State. Are these just, let's see what the market dictates as far as money is concerned, and maybe the defensive coordinator comes in and is able to reel those guys back in? What does your intel give you on that, Corey?
Yeah, I think definitely Derek Harmon is someone that we've heard. Like, there's a good shot that if they make the right hire and everything comes together, he's someone that you could see coming back in the class here. So Zion, I think maybe the same deal if the new guy likes him and he does that. But I mean, we kind of heard he was maybe they held some teams off last offseason with him, so that's kind of becoming a pattern with him, I guess. So we'll see on Zion. I would think Derek Harmon is someone that could definitely make it back in, being a local guy, and he was a leader on the team too. Like, so I mean, so that's certain ones too. They're a little bit different, like Derek Harmon and some of those guys where they took that leadership role on, and these coaches are going to find out about that as they talk to people and get to know the team, because they're talking to these kids every day, because a lot of them are still on campus. You know, they're going to realize the benefit, because this is a culture built type of coaching staff. So they're going to go make sure if they can get the people taking care of that are their leaders, they're going to want to do that. So he's definitely one. I think some of the offensive linemen are guys that are candidates that, you know, they could come back, although those guys seem quite popular in the portal, watching them add offer after offer after offer today. So, which is good, because they're all really good players. So it's not a surprise to see that. But obviously, that's the risk for Michigan State, is when those guys go in there, is that they do see all these other things, and it only takes one monster offer that just doesn't make sense to you, and then, you know, they're gone. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd say they're doing what they can. They're talking to the kids every day, building that relationship as quickly as they can, letting them know what their vision is, and, you know, that they're trying to turn it forward, because there is a lot of good players and coaches and everything connected to this program from previous that are still around that can help out this program with the rebuild.
Right. You look at guys like Derek Harmon is a Detroit Loyola guy, local guy. You know, I know his mother had some challenges that, you know, that she loved the fact that he was close to her, so she was able to see some of his games. Zion Young, a little bit of a different story, a guy who is uber talented, but is from the state of Georgia, a very talented guy. And, you know, so his parents are already making a trek to East Lansing. So that's a guy that's going to probably take a little bit more. When you look at the secondary, you know, obviously the elephant room, everybody talks about the young freshman, the true freshman sensation, Jordan Hall. Haven't heard much about him or from him leading up to this defensive coordinator hire. Obviously, Dylan Tatum, Malik Spencer, guys like that, Chance Rucker, you know, Mangum. A lot of people in that secondary that I would imagine teams are contacting, even if they haven't hit the portal. You know, I mean, how does this work? Because everybody gets upset, Corey, about the tampering. But the way that I see it, it's just pretty much impossible for them to stop or to regulate this? And talking about from an NCAA perspective, how does this whole thing shake out in the portal?
Yeah, it's definitely a rough spot, and that's what the issue's been, where you saw some of those guys that entered the portal. Some of them, they went in with a plan. Some of them, I don't know how good of a plan it was. But you got to think, they sat there for 3 months almost without a head coach. So the assistants couldn't really do much. They're their hands are tied. They can just say, hey, just hang in there. You love this university and all that stuff. But you had all these coaches across the country reaching through their back channels, or maybe not even back channels, and reaching out to these kids and, telling them what they want to hear. So, I mean, a lot of these decisions of the guys that you saw go in, I think they were probably made in October and November. And even though there hasn't been a single guy to say a bad thing about this coaching staff, as far as the people or their interaction with them, it's just they had this decision made months before they ever got here, because they just had so many people in their ears telling them that they can get something else, or hey, if you go in and Michigan State wants you, then that's going to sweeten the pot a little bit and all of that. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's college football in this era now. Until they change it, this is just what you're going to deal with as a coach. And so you go from working a couple full-time jobs being a head coach to now you're working 3, 4, 5 full-time jobs, because you literally can never step away now. Every rule they come up with takes you away from your family or sleep or anything more and more every day, it seems like, with them.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And in today's day and age, and today, because we got to think about it. Like when we played, there wasn't the mass social media. You could reach out to guys that that you played with in high school, played against in high school, that are gone different places, and be like, hey,
What's going
think
on
about
over there?
coming over here. And also too, you gotta think about now, something that really stuck with me, and I'm remembering, is after the Alabama LSU game or something like that, there was that clip of Nick Saban, that DB or receiver that transferred from Alabama, and Nick Saban told him, oh, if you would have stayed here, you would have been playing more here than you are over there. How do you know, especially with Michigan State, where it was so early in the season that the coach was fired week 2? At the end of games, these coaches that are at these programs that have stability could be going to these guys that they're scouting and say, hey, if you want a change of scenery next year, let me know. Those different things could happen on the field, in the handshake line, and going through and reach, talking that way. So that's how the frenzy of transfer portal / free agency is really picking up here.
Yeah, that's crazy though, because you played for John L. Smith, right?
Yeah, and Antonio. I had a good year in there too.
But could you imagine John L. in this era? Like when he was here, his highlight was what effing mountain he was going to climb in the summer,
Right.
not going out and getting players.
Exactly.
But could you imagine him in this era?
That's what we talked about a lot. Like
be slapping himself to stay awake.
Yeah, a lot of the coaches that had a lot of success before just wouldn't be built for this. This is a tough environment for coaches.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the players and how much it's rough on them and their families, obviously. But to be a Division I, especially Power 5, Group of 5, any head coach right now in college athletics, I mean, you really have to watch the poaching. I mean, it's a thing that's real, and we're going to do shows on this. We have a lot of data that is coming in that is showing how many people, the percentage of guys who really get a new spots. Like if they stay from Power 5 to Power 5, the majority of them go down. I think it's only like 14% who go from Power 5 to another or go up.
Yeah. Right. And that's the thing too, is you get all those people with their friends or family telling them maybe they're a little bit better than they are. And then you end up going, like, we'll use Michigan State as an example, just because obviously that's the team here, like where they think, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to get all these offers. And then next thing they know, they're running out of a tunnel in Akron, Ohio, like as a zip. Like, and that might be the best case scenario for some of them. Like, there's thousands of kids each portal season that never get to play another down again, and they didn't have to leave. They chose to leave. They lost their free education, which if you're a borderline guy anyways, and you're probably not making the NFL, go get your education for free, because that's what's going to drive you the rest of your adult life. And you just gave that up because somebody told you you were better than you were.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and that's something that people don't realize. A lot of the great thing about the transfer portal and NIL, it empowers the athlete, but that's also that empowerment, also that power, also holds a lot of negative, and it holds a lot of you're a young kid now. You're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, and you have to make life-changing decisions like that. And if you choose to if you have that mindset of the grass is greener somewhere else, as opposed to the grass is greener where you water it, that's a tough decision there. And that's a decision that's going to be with you the rest of it. You could have those woulda, shoulda, coulda, what ifs, and all that. But that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. And I hope all these kids that are entering the transfer portal, you alluded to, Corey, Stray, you alluded to it as well. Hope you're entering it with a plan. Hope you have it all mapped out, all rolled out, that you're going to where you want to go, that's going to have success. And also too, just the same way when it was great to recruit high school kids, these coaches tell you what you want to hear as well. Me, for example, I was the top running back in the country. Coming in here, you're going to be this. You're going to be the next TJ Duckett. You're going to do this. I came in to move me to linebacker. So those are some things that you realize. All these things. Take everything with a grain of salt. Listen. Plan it out, and surround yourself with a great group of people that have the best interests for you, not their visions.
Yeah, and it's a smaller window too, because you don't have the year, 2 years, 3 years to make a decision. You're literally making it off of a couple conversations in a lot of cases. So because you don't want to wait around too long, because if you're thinking about your spot, someone else might grab it, and there's only so many spots. So yeah, it's a definitely high stakes game for everybody. And then, you look at it shows you how bad some college coaches are too, because you'll see a guy that because you watched him play for 3 years, or you watched him play for 4 years, and he wasn't very good. And then, he goes hits that portal, and you just see that
snapped up,
blowing up, blow, and you're like, what are you? Be like, do you need me to send you some full game tapes, or what are we doing here? But and every coach does it. It's like they just get so excited about starts and stats that they almost forget that some of those guys are leaving for a reason. So, but
sometimes you see that, Corey, too, when guys don't have a lot of starts. That's the thing that kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, that'd be scary to go in without any tape.
There was a comment here, so we are interactive with our fan base and our followers, our loyal listeners here. And Sean just put in there, I wouldn't enter the portal unless I had an offer in hand, just like I wouldn't quit my job without another offer. There's a lot of players in reality that do just go in without solid intelligence that they are going to land somewhere. Is this even guys who've played a lot?
Yeah. You guys have been around lots of different players and families. Not everybody has the same support staff as other people. So, there's those parents that they know the right people where they can, go ask, hey, what do you think about this? And they know that they're getting a truthful, honest answer from somebody that is in a decision-making area. He understands that question. And then there's other people that they just some random person or friend or family members oh yeah you do this and you jump in. There's just different levels of support that all these guys have when they go in there, and they're hearing different things. So I know with you guys, with your sons, even Alicia, you go take them around to see everything, what questions to ask, what to ignore. Yeah, that's really cool, but everybody's doing that. That's not real. So like you guys have a better understanding with that, where some of the people, they just will like, they'll ask me questions about something, and it's just like glaring almost how much they don't know about the magnitude of what they're doing, or why that coach said that to them, or just stuff like that. It's just very, very big contrast.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids don't be listening to Uncle Pookie and Cousin Ray Ray and them, who haven't even left the state in years, but they think they know what's best for you. You know, that's what happened.
Pookie and Ray Ray and them. Uncle,
Uncle,
it gets rough out
Uncle
there.
Pookie, Cousin Ray Ray, all them.
You got to watch them, man, because look, guys, it's a big gamble for players. You know, I want to get to a couple of questions that were popped up, or actually statements, I suppose. Jacoby Windman. So we're hearing he did post the other day that he has another year of eligibility left. What are you hearing about his potential of maybe staying and coming back?
Yeah, it sounds like he's gonna play next year, hopefully, for Michigan State, and Jonathan Smith and Leggy Suianoa, the new defensive line coach. I think they would want it to be here. I think that's a guy that a lot of people probably forget, because he got injured so early. Just how big of an impact he made, because I thought like he was going to move down to defensive end and get that consistent pass rush, just because I thought Jordan Hall was able to kind of take that linebacker spot. Aaron Brule had a great year for Michigan State. Like,
yeah, he did.
His rebound was big, so that would have been able to afford Jacoby to play a lot more defensive end, stand up, and just get after the quarterback. Where, I mean, you look at the games that they really struggled, they weren't getting any pressure, let alone sacks. So a guy like Jacoby would have single-handedly created much more pressure, made it easier for the other guys to kind of get there, just because he's going to eat so many blocks on his own. So yeah, if you're Michigan State, you know he's got that extra year. That's a guy that you really show what your vision is for him and why you need him and his importance, because this last season we didn't get to see it because he got hurt too early before he could make it. But the season before, when he was healthy, like the impact he made and the loss you had after he was out was one of the bigger ones I can ever remember, honestly, of seeing a single guy be injured and having the entire defense change with his loss. So, like, if I'm them, that's a guy that I'm on the phone with daily to make sure he's got everything he needs to bring him back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not just on the field for him. I mean, he's a guy who's a leader in that locker room as well,
Yep.
Jacoby.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah. Great player. Really, really solid individual, and just a stellar leader in that locker room.
And that's important with the new staff too, because when you're trying to set what your culture and your standard is, you need, like, they're not going to listen to a rah-rah guy that sucks. Like, you guys have been in those locker rooms, like you understand there's levels to it. Like you don't gotta be the best player, but you at least gotta show that you belong or whatever before you tell someone how they need to do their job. So yeah, I think getting him would be a monster addition on the field and in the locker room. Same with Jordan Hall, which I'm sure I'll let you lead into that. I'm sure you're going there. But.
Oh no! Hey, listen, we're gonna dive deep into that portal discussion. I mean, we touched on it, but we want to shift gears a little bit here, Corey, and talk about the high school players that may So we have a couple of guys who are highlighted here that are committed to other schools that the Smith staff currently is really going after, and I want to let you give you the floor to talk about the players that you want to highlight.
Who are we going with first, just with the video? I'll
you
go
call it, they'll put it up. I mean, they're pros back behind. So, listen, we got the best producers in the country.
With Stevens. So we got Desmond Stevens. He started out a safety, kind of grew into a linebacker at Clarkson High School. Woo! Like the dude can play. Like to me, he's a top 5 kid in the state for me, just because of how versatile and great of an athlete he is. he kind of reminds me of, you know, how you saw Benny Fowler, Tony Lippett, some of those guys where you could just see you didn't necessarily have a set position at the time as they were coming through. It started to become clearer as they got to senior year. I kind of put Desmond Stevens in that category where he's just great athlete. I mean, look at that. Like how did he not have an offer earlier is my question. But yeah,
are we kidding?
Yeah, this is and he's got a safety background, and in today's game where a linebacker has to be able to cover, he's going to come with plus coverage abilities at the linebacker spot already just by being a DB most of his career until he got to that size. So yeah, like him, we've heard Michigan State's putting the full court press on him. He's currently committed to USC. But I mean, as anybody
he wants to play defense, don't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Come on, Stevens. Hey, baby, you want to play some defense?
Listen, don't play no defense at USC now.
Let me put the camera on me. I'm out here in LA right now. I'm in Orange County. Stevens, you don't want to come out here, man. No, you want to stay in the Midwest.
Defensive coordinator in, but it's a philosophy thing with Lincoln Riley that he's going to put the defense in bad positions because he's always going to push the envelope with the offense. And anybody that knows how to play all three phases of football know that's why Lincoln Riley can never actually win the big one, because he kicks everything over to his baby, the offense, and you've got to stay grounded between the three, and you know you can put points on them, you can't take them back off the scoreboard. So yeah, so him, obviously everybody that saw his tape, you see why Michigan State is hot after him. Great player, and then once you get
young
past
Jordan
him,
Hall out there.
Yeah. And then the next linebacker is from Gaylord, Michigan. So probably the best northern lower Michigan linebacker since the Bolas. So it only makes sense for him to come here. Brady Pretzlaff. He's currently committed to Minnesota. And then when you pop these tapes on, like you just see a Michigan State linebacker back in the D'Antonio era. He's kind of he's got the athleticism, and he can go out and cover, but absolutely, that nasty throwback linebacker that's just knows the game, is physical. You go in there, fill the hole really quickly. 6'3", 230. I mean, that's the size. Like, as soon as he adjusts to the college speed in game, he can play day one at the size he's coming in at. So that's another bonus where Michigan State needs to hurry up and get some guys on the field, and they need to make an impact early, just especially if they lose some guys in the portal. But another guy, great athlete, and with both of those guys, Brady Pretzlaff and Stevens, they were both offered really late in their recruiting process with the previous staff, and they didn't maybe necessarily love the vision of the program at that time. Where with Jonathan Smith, he's kind of to me, he kind of reminds me of like a D'Antonio a lot. I'm sure you guys listen to interviews, you kind of are starting to like flash back to some things that you saw. He's a more offensive minded guy, a little cutting edge, but people forget D'Antonio was pretty cutting edge in his first half here with his offenses. They were doing a lot of things that necessarily weren't being done. So you see those qualities, and those type of qualities are rubbing off and making a big impact on Brady Pretzlaff or Stevens, because they see that, and they're football guys, and that's the best way, I guess, to picture them, as these guys are just good football guys. They want to win, and they want to rebuild it to where Michigan State wants to be and where they want to be. Because you think with Jonathan Smith, like, he left his alma mater, and when he had the press conference, he said it was about, for me, it's about chasing championships at the highest level. Mm-hmm. He lost that. Not anything he did, not anything Oregon State did, just that's where college football made that decision for him. So that's why he comes here, and those guys can sense that he's here to try and chase championships and develop the guys on and off the field.
coming out of
resumes.
Oregon State, it seems like a school that, obviously they had to go find diamonds in the rough. It was tough for them to go out and just grab 5 stars left and right. They just didn't have the resources to do that. Michigan State obviously has much more resources than he's used to. But, would it not be easier? I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier already, but to go after these players, these linebackers you just highlighted here, Clarkston and Northern Michigan, with the defensive coordinator. I think at the end of the day, the defensive coordinator hire will solve a lot of issues that everybody has questions about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody's going to want to know who it is, obviously, but then also what scheme, because I don't know that he's necessarily married to a scheme. I would assume it would probably be the 4-2-5 that a lot of people are playing, where you can hybrid it with your box guy, whether you want him to be the linebacker, you mix some 4-3 in. So I mean, it's not going to be anything crazy exotic that you're not seeing out all over the country. But at the same point, like, you want to, if you're a linebacker, you've been around linebackers, they like to talk football and scheme. So, they want that conversation with that linebacker coach or that defensive coordinator or whatever, where they can sit down and they can just talk football. So yeah, that's the big key. I think that's probably taking up all of Jonathan Smith's time for the most part right now. Like, obviously he's out there trying to get to know coaches, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, he knows he's got to get that staff together so that they can hit this December signing period with as much momentum as possible and ammunition on the coaching staff.
I mean, when you look at the Broyles winner, I think the Broyles Award did go to Phil Parker, defensive coordinator out of Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa didn't have a phenomenal season. They were in the Big Ten championship game, but this is a guy. He's a Spartan. Played for Michigan State back in the '80s, early '80s, and is a very well respected guy. Any rumors, any smoke around him?
I think
that's for you, Harriet, by the way.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was tied to we needed to see Kirk Ferentz retire. I don't know if he would leave him, but if I'm Michigan State and you have that pool, I'm at least giving him a number. Like, I think during the championship game, I think I tweeted out that I would be outside with a $2 million a year contract waiting for him. Be like, make him say no to you, because, like, to me, he's the best defensive coordinator in college football, because there's a lot of really good ones, like at Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, some of those places, but they are not getting the same player as Iowa is not getting the same type of player, or anywhere near the same type of player as Georgia, Alabama, Texas, some of those schools. So to me, like, if we call it the pound for pound, he's the best defensive coordinator, because he can basically plug in guys that aren't highly rated. They're not the most athletic. They're not, this, but they know how to do their job every single time they line up. They know what to do. There's like 2 or 3 different check downs. They know what to look for to key into what they have to do, and they just do the same thing over and over and over, but yet an offense can never figure it out.
Man, so much to unpack with this. I mean, there's so many things we can talk about. Chew, I mean, look, I know you have a lot of ideas and thoughts about a lot of things, right? Yeah. I mean, before we let Corey go, do you have anything?
Here's my thing, though. I'll do one with it. Why hasn't Michigan State got to the point where they have the we're gonna throw someone, what donor? We'll say Jehu's the donor. Why is there not the Jehuu Caulcrick defensive coordinator, Phil Parker? Like, you get a donor,
like at Michigan, where they
you get a donor that it's $2 million for that coordinator. You're paying it. You got $2 million for the other offensive coordinator, and then you take that other $10 million budget for the other assistants and off-field staff. Like if I'm Michigan State, Alan, if you're watching, that makes a lot of sense. But and that doesn't mean Jehuu gets to pick the defensive coordinator. It just means he trusts.
It's an endowment.
He trusts them to make the right decision with his $2 million a year.
Get on that, Chew. Go ahead, Chew. I mean, it's
Yeah.
$2 million a year, baby. We
be
want to
putting it
win, Chew.
I'll be putting it into the offensive line.
There you go. He can be the Jehuu Caulcrick offensive line coach.
Get me a hog molly. I want those old linemen floating
They
on air. Like
they
we
got a
saw,
good one there,
right?
though. Coach M, he's a good offensive line coach. So that's a good start. Whenever you always want to get a good offensive line coach, because as you know, that's where the game's won is in the trenches. Is
Exactly.
No matter how fast it gets or
Yes, sir.
explosive it gets, it's still who wins right there and who can control the line.
Coach M. I like that because we don't really know how to pronounce it yet. We don't have the phonetic spelling just yet.
Yeah,
And we don't want to butcher
forever.
it. Coach M, just like Kapilivik, Cap, Coach M. Coach M right now. Yeah. Man, Corey, look, we definitely love having you on here. We can talk to you for hours and hours upon, but listen, you're welcome anytime. Really, we appreciate the time and the information. It was much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime, guys, just send me a message and I'll be there and get you guys and have some fun with it. So yeah, we got it. So
appreciate it, Corey.
Then you have to give me a heads up on who the defensive coordinator is off the air, since I know you guys know that already.
Oh, come on, man! Everybody, we're all in the dark. We're all like three blind mice right now, trying to figure it out. We're in the same boat, man. Appreciate it, Corey. 247 Sports on Corey Robinson, man. Hey, listen, Jehuu, baby. $2 million for a defensive coordinator or offensive line coach, man. We really do appreciate the contributions to Michigan State football and athletics, Jehuu. Thank you for doing that. Because this is an announcement, obviously.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So listen, before we take a quick commercial break here, I just, we have a lot of stuff we were talking about with the transfer portal and all those things. But look, there's been this discussion about what the NCAA president talked about, creating a new FBS subdivision permitting schools to directly compensate athletes. Just real quickly, when you talk about that, Charlie Barker is a new NCAA president who happened to be a governor of Massachusetts, a Republican governor of Massachusetts. He is now proposing $30,000 to all athletes in a trust fund from each school.
Yeah, this is something I said years ago that it should be put in there when there was the topic of, student athletes getting paid. I said it should be some type of trust when they're done. It's something that they can have, they can fall back on, or even go to a point where, if they're done and their health insurance is taken care of for so many years into their lives. And I think it's a good start. It's a good starting point for that. And, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. It can really put some guidelines around NIL. And this is also on top of different NIL deals that you can do. And I think it can make NIL be used in a proper way then, as opposed to NIL being used as pay for play.
Given everything, this would be a Title IX compliant situation here, so all female sports, would be equally compensated. The goal would be to create this subdivision, and we're going to get more of this as this unfolds. This just dropped today, as we know. This is Tuesday, December 5th. We're going to get into more of the discussion of the college football playoff debate, because I know you guys, everybody has an opinion on this one. We'll be back in a moment with more of that discussion after these messages from our friends over at IHOP and SeatGeek.
IHOP and Wonka are dreaming up a magical new menu. Magnificently mouth-watering items like Wonka's perfectly purple pancakes, the fantastical Wonka burger, and of course, Hover Chalk pancake tacos. Every good thing in this world started with a dream, and now this one is a reality. Only at IHOP. Try the new Wonka menu for a limited time. Kids eat free from 4 to 10 p.m. And see Wonka, only in theaters December 15th.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception? First down? Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
So, the moment people have all been waiting on. I love the stacks and the tickets. Appreciate that. Raven, Marlon, all of you guys. Everybody was dropping those tickets in stacks in the chat. I mean, and that's a new IHOP commercial there, by the way. SeatGeek got to step up, man. Step your game up. But the college football debate, we're going to get into it. If you don't know by now, the committee for the college football playoff has chosen its final 4 teams that are going to play for the national title. And those teams, in no particular order, but we're going to start at the first. Michigan, Washington, number 2, number 3, Texas, and Alabama, the 4th seed, which leaves Florida State and Georgia. Florida State, the 5th team that got passed up by Alabama. A Florida State team who went undefeated, wins its conference championship, was passed over by a 1-loss SEC champion. What is the mood? There's a lot of opinions on this, and I know, Jehuu, you got to have an opinion on this.
What's your opinion, Stray?
My opinion is, listen, it's a business decision. And I think that the committee, when you look at what Boo Corrigan of the CFP committee chair said, Florida State is a different team than they were through the first 11 weeks. It was an incredible season. But as you look at who they are as a team right now, without Jordan Travis and without the offensive dynamic that he brings to it, they're a different team. And the committee voted Alabama number 4 and Florida State number 5. I agree with Boo. I do appreciate what Florida State was able to do. I do think that this is a tough decision. I think it sucks. Like, if I'm a Florida State player, I'm devastated because you did nothing wrong. However, when you look at, there's historical data to this too, because when you look at 2014, when Ohio State had a similar situation, Ohio State got down to their 3rd string quarterback. When you think about it, Cardell Jones, who was nicknamed 12 Gauge, who infamously tweeted out, "We ain't come here to go to no school." He went to the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis and hung 59. Okay, so like JT Barrett was quarterback prior to that, but he took it to another level. I remember watching that and saying, "Wait a minute, this offense might have got better with the 3rd string quarterback." When I look at, fast forward 9 years, here we are looking at the ACC championship game against Florida State and Louisville, number 4 versus number 18. It was, I think, 3-0 at halftime. There was a lot of struggle. It was a defensive struggle type. It was almost like one of those Iowa type games, but this isn't an Iowa game. This was the ACC championship. And if you want to get into the playoffs after losing your starting quarterback, and they had also gotten down to their 3rd string quarterback in this particular game. Jordan Travis is out with a broken leg. 2nd team quarterback goes down with a concussion. And now here we are with the 3rd string quarterback. It was not the same team. They did win the game. However, it was by 6 points. There was a point in the game where a tight end comes down with a pass in the end zone. If you ask me my opinion, if it was the same, almost an identical play to what happened at Michigan against Ohio State, where they called a touchdown for Michigan. They said it was a non-touchdown because he caught the ball, landed in the end zone, and the defensive back raked it out. And that would have beaten Florida State if they would have called that a touchdown. It was too close, in my opinion. So you look at the SEC and the power the SEC brings. I just don't know how they were able. At the end of the day, this comes down to dollars and draw and matchups. What I hear a lot of talking heads and the media talk about, beauty contest. Yeah, it's a beauty contest, absolutely, because that's what sells tickets. That's what sells the eyeballs and ratings. And I think they got it right in that aspect. But I do feel for those players at Florida State. Jehuu, how about you?
All right. The great George Perlis, right? He had a saying. He said, they all count one.
Yes, he did.
They all count one. That means if you win, that's one win for that week. If you lose, it's one. It all counts as one. One win or one loss. It counts. You brought up the Ohio State thing. So Cardell Jones was the third string quarterback behind Braxton Miller and JT Barrett.
Yeah.
His first game he started as a quarterback was in the Big Ten title game. Goes out there, like you alluded to, hung 59 on Wisconsin. His second game he started the semifinals for the inaugural national college playoffs against Alabama. Beats Alabama 42-35. Goes out there and beats them. Third string quarterback. What's changed then? What's changed now that didn't change then? Florida State's second string quarterback was out with a concussion. The game is played January 1st. Right now it's December 5th. He has time to recover from that concussion to play in that game. What's changed then what's changed now that didn't change then? Is my question to that. As a player, as a coach, as anybody on a team, what you're taught is to go out there, play the game, every single game, play the schedule that's laid out in front of you. At the beginning of the season, the schedule is out. Everyone agreed to this schedule. I'm going to play this team. I'm going to play this team week 1 through week 12. The goal at the end of the season is to play in the playoffs. You do what you're supposed to do to get to that point. All you ask for is for a ticket to the dance. That's all you want to do. You do everything right. It's like your parents telling you, hey, you do a great job. You go to bed on time all week long. You have a dance coming up on Saturday, Stray. You go to bed, you go to school, you're on time, you pay attention, you pass your tests, do everything. You can go to that dance. You do everything right. You do everything that's asked of you. Every single thing, every single day you show up, you perform, you electrify, you do everything that's put out in front of you to punch your ticket to that dance. You get to the dance, the bouncer said, no, you can't come in. That's BS. That is absolutely BS. And that's strictly out of fear, because fear of Nick Saban, fear of Alabama, of the brand that Alabama is fear of the political vibes that's going to go, that comes out of that, the politics for the SEC. There's not a way that 2 years in a row that they're going to say, no, we're going to leave Saban out. Florida State, they're a Power 5 school. They won their conference title. They went undefeated. They did what was supposed to do. They need a right to get in there. You look at March Madness, we all love the Cinderella story. We all love the underdog story. Why can't Florida State get an opportunity to get the underdog story with their backup quarterback or the third string quarterback? They want to punch their ticket to the dance. George Mason made it to the Final Four. Butler made it to the Final Four because they got a ticket to the dance. Once you get a ticket to the dance, then you can dance with all the pretty girls. You can leave with the pretty girls, but you got to get into the dance. Those kids at Florida State were cheated. They did not get an opportunity to go to the dance and to let the chips fall where they may. They did everything they were supposed to do. They did everything. I get it. People want to see the marquee matchups, the this versus that. Oh man, it's going to draw. It's going to bring that. I get it and everything like that. But at what point in time do we think about the kids? Everyone, do we want to complain about, NIL kids are making too much, this, that, and the other. But at what point do we think about the kids? When is it beneficial for the kids then?
Jehuu, I understand, and I do, as I said, when you asked me, what do I feel? I said I do feel for the players over at Florida.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get your point too.
And when this is the thing that us as Spartan Nation, I think that we've somehow lost sight. And I know we're passionate, and I know we care. I know that we want the right people to get in. And I do believe, again, Florida State got screwed, but we're looking at the wrong team. We're mad at the SEC and all that stuff, but all the SEC has done, 10 of the last 14 national championships? All the SEC has done is been dominant in the game of football against the Big Ten, right? When you look at it, it's always Big Ten or SEC. For whatever reason, in Spartan, especially at East Lansing, people, I'm talking about us. We have now we've vilified the SEC, and we've forgotten them sons of bitches down the road who are in the damn final, number one, that shouldn't even be there. That is who I have a problem with. That's the solution to the problem. Michigan should not be in the playoff. Alabama or Georgia, listen, you ain't going to lock out the SEC. You ain't going to do that.
Yeah, but
this year we have a champion who we all have seen with our own eyes cheated their way over the last 3 seasons to get to where they are. Are they a good team right now, Chew? Yes. Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah.
Are they cheating today? Maybe not, but it's residual. Listen, man,
right.
We know that the players, the recruiting, the confidence, all those things that go along with what Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh under his watch. You can't hand me that shit, Jim. I don't know nothing about that. But listen, you are on the sideline, and we know how it works on the sidelines. You're a sideline reporter right now. It's just like I have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't walk. If we walk up there next to Coach Tony, Coach Tucker, Coach Williams, Coach Smith, whoever the coach is, somebody gonna grab you and say, hey, you gotta get over. Like there's only a certain few that can be out on that white line talking between coordinators and head coach. So we already know that. We're gonna let the NCAA debate that. Listen, the Big Ten, Rick Pititi has already spoken, but it didn't have a lot of teeth in it because you allowed this to happen right here. This is where we are. Michigan is the team that Florida State and everybody who thinks Florida State got screwed, I'm one of them, is the one that we should be mad about. They're the ones that should not be in the playoffs. And yes, I mean, the Big Ten wouldn't be represented.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that you said, Stray. Those guys down the road, like, yes, but it didn't happen. And your Florida State got screwed in this as well. And people want to say, yeah, the SEC is a dominant conference as well. But you got to look too back and forth. Like the teams have been the ACC. They've put Clemson. They've had four runs in the last since 2015. They've been to the national title game 4 times.
Why is that? Why is that? Who was playing quarterback at that time? Deshaun Watson,
right,
and Trevor Lawrence. Okay, those are the guys who have gotten them there.
But I'm saying the conference is not. People say the conference is weak.
No. They didn't have an injury at quarterback. That is one of the caveats in the criteria that they evaluate. Health of players. And there's only there is nobody. Like neither one of us play quarterback. I mean, you're close to the quarterback, but maybe I was close to the quarterback, technically speaking, right?
Yeah.
But now they're all in the gun, so they're closer to you. So, so listen, like quarterback is the single most important position on the field. If that guy goes down, and you see a dip in performance or offensive output, then you have to make the decision. It's not the same. Cardell Tate hung 59 in the Big Ten championship. Now, if the third string quarterback from Florida State goes in there and his name escapes me at the present time, like when I think about him, if he goes in the game and hangs 59 on Louisville, well, hey, I don't think now the SEC has a problem the way things are set, but that's not what we saw.
But you have a month to get healthy. Your quarterback got a concussion protocol.
You can't go back. You ain't gonna have.
You can't go into the future and think what can happen. You can't think, oh, this matchup is going to be that matchup is going to be. You can't go into you can't read into the future for that either. You're muted. You're muted.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, get that good venom out.
because you're talking about getting to the second team. You know, Jordan Travis is not coming back. He's not coming back for this playoff.
Right. Yeah.
So the second team quarterback didn't have a high output offensively either. So I'm not, what we're saying, this is what the other issue is. TCU 1 year ago went into this championship. They did knock off Michigan because now we know why they knocked off Michigan. But Georgia, it didn't matter, did it? Okay, that's what everybody's thinking. Like, they don't want that kind of rating. They don't want that kind of matchup. They don't want a Florida State with a second or third string quarterback facing what would it have been? Michigan? Because let's go to the moment where Michigan, do we have that ready, guys? I don't know if we have that ready. Where Michigan.
I love that.
It's a couple old dads in the back clapping. Everybody else.
Great. The thing is this, Stray. I totally agree with what you're saying. Then the NCAA come out and say it. Say, hey, this draw is not going to make us money. We're going to come out and say it.
You know, like, yeah. But that's what they said. They did.
Say, hey, we're going in for the money. But the whole thing is this: at the end of the day, yeah, I'm happy Alabama, and it's in there. And I think Alabama's going to win it all. Don't get me wrong. I think they're gonna run the table and win it all now. I want to put the brakes. I want to stomp the dog shit out of Michigan. Absolutely. Go ahead and do it. Coach Saban.
There's gonna be a lot of us talking about roll tide.
Yeah.
I know that.
He understands what it means to play against Michigan. He's been in it. He's entrenched and rooted in that rivalry. So he understands that. He's going to take that. He needs to take that passion with him, and I'm sure he will. But I love the fact, and I hope Bama just rolls them. And I want nothing good for that Michigan program. Absolute nothing good for them.
Nothing.
Because to a point, you're absolutely 100% right. The NCAA dropped the ball on this one. They should have done something. Because if it was anybody else, they're going to say we're going to suspend until investigation's done. They're going to be chastised, ostracized, whatever else size that you can think of for that program, and throw them out there. But it's because it's Michigan, and it's the same thing again. Come out and say, hey, Michigan's going to draw a big crowd. They're going to bring us money. That's why we want to do it. Come out and say this. I don't care. I don't care 5 years from now, 2 years from now, if they say, oh, those wins are going to be vacated. You know why I don't care? Because those Michigan fans, those blue bellies, today they're enjoying themselves. I want them to hurt. I want them to hurt. I don't want them. It's not going to hurt 2 years from now, 5 years from now, when it's all said and done. They're going to have the good memories of playing in the Big Ten title game. They're going to have those good memories of playing in Pasadena. I want them to hurt.
Does anybody, when you hear Fab Five say, "Oh, they didn't win the national title, they didn't get to the Final Four," nobody thinks of that. They think about how dominant they were, and they know that. I mean, all those guys in Ann Arbor right now are booking their tickets and all their travel arrangements to Pasadena, and they're gonna have a great time, and they're going to go down with the ship. It's just kind of like the guys that are playing in the quartet on the Titanic. That's Michigan.
They're going to go to Lowry's, eat some prime rib.
They're going to do it all. They're going down. But look, Deion Sanders, who is a Seminole, okay? We know Deion, he's a lightning rod. He brought a lot of eyeballs to the game, college football, from casual fans out there this year. But here's a quote from him. He goes, "I can't be upset. We're recruiting against those guys. You've got to understand that this is a business now. I can't be mad. I look at this as this is entertainment, but this is business. So there's no way you're going to leave Coach Saban and Alabama out of the playoff."
Yeah, of course he's going to say that.
I mean, listen, he can say whatever he wants, what's on his mind. He can't. I don't think he has a dog in the fight there. If he had a dog in the fight, he would have a dog in Florida State.
Sour grapes with Florida State. He has sour grapes with Florida State. Coach
they didn't
Saban's
hire
his
him?
guy. They're going to be doing a Aflac commercial
Coach
here.
Saban said he paid the guy $4 million. Talking about Travis, man, come on. They had a little tiff too. He's got sour grapes with everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, Deion's not doing so. Deion, he not so prime time right now, but he's telling the truth. Got kids jumping in the portal, lost his baby girl, all kinds of things. His son's is injured. Look, but he had the presence of mind to say it's business, and that's what this is at the end of the day. And that's also the decision that you just said of why Michigan's in the game, which they shouldn't be, because that's the integrity of the game. There's no injury situation. That one had misfortune and the other one did some, underhanded stuff. There's difference, misfortune and underhanded.
I just got to say that the Palev committee got really lucky that this is the last year. And next year it's expanding. That's why I got really lucky for that, because then you're going to see some things now. You're going to see some matchups. I mean, they let Cincinnati in there, a couple years ago. I mean, that's what do you?
I mean, they went way high. Izzo about this, he was like, I think they may have gone a little high, going 12. I agree with that too. It's really great for us, for football fans, because I mean, we're gonna be, I know Alicia's gonna be like, another game. She's all good. No, but it's saying, but it's up to what?
Oh, and it's in your backyard.
Which one?
The Rose Bowl.
Oh, yeah, it is. For now.
Chew might have to scoop that.
Come on out, man. You got a place. You know that. Come on, get some Popeyes. We pick you up.
I got some spots in Pasadena now.
I know you do. You used to live in Pasadena.
Yes, sir.
I know
good sushi out there too.
Oh man, hey man, that's always a magical place. I think that's the place that Nick Saban won his first championship with Alabama, but also the place that Michigan continues to go out and lose. So I think that's historically a place that Michigan loses games.
I know we're running out of time here, but before we go, I want to give a big shout out to Virgin River. The new season came out, part 2 of the last season came out.
Man, I gotta get on this. I don't know what this is.
The big disappointment was there was only 2 episodes on this season, so now we have to wait.
What?
But yeah, man, Preacher, he's getting himself in trouble again. But
the Preacher?
Yeah,
Virgin River, man.
You got to peep it on Netflix, man.
Okay. I don't know how many Virgin River fans we have out there, but I guess, you guys should I watch Virgin River? Scum loose in bowl games, period. I like that, Ladarian. Hey, man, that's what I'm talking about with our fan base. We don't care about that. And I don't know. Virgin River, true. Maybe how many seasons are there right now?
I think right now we're at season 5 or 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. It's just nice. And then another one too. Another one that you should watch. If you watched Squid Games, there's the Squid Games challenge. It's real people playing the games, and you really see the inner workings of people, themselves, and they're playing for over 4.5 million. So Squid Games, and if you've already seen the first Squid Games, definitely check out Squid Games Challenge.
You heard it here. I mean, we are very well rounded at this Spartan MSU. Chew has a lot of layers to him, as do we all.
Yeah,
Stray wouldn't make it through one episode of Virgin River snoring. Thanks, Mama Stray.
You're right, Mama Stray. He will be cussing me while watching it.
No, I ain't gonna cuss you if I'm sleeping. I can't do both, And Cal, come on, Cal. Listen, I always have time. I gotta stop being so busy. Listen, I'm never too busy for you, man. Listen, this has been a great show, and I appreciate everybody who's listened to this. Spirited debate by you, Chew. Do you have any final words before you go?
Yeah, one more thing. Shout out to my cousin, my nephew, Hastings Lewis Jr. He's in the Naval Academy. He's in Navy. So this weekend, big game. Go Navy, beat Army, baby.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tom Story as well. We talked about it earlier. I love this game. This is one of my favorite games of the year, Army-Navy game. Go Navy, beat Army.
Oh man, I'll be watching that one. The cadets and the Mitch. Hey man, that's what's going down. I love that one. That's the spirit of college football. Remember Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside, back in the day, Heisman candidates, Glenn Roberts. I mean, listen, that is the purest form of the game right there. And we watching that one. Chew, looks, man, no love lost. Refocus your energy on those assholes down the road, okay? And everything is going to be fine. For Jehuu Caulcrick, I'm Jason Strayhorn. This is Sparta MSU. Everybody have a good night. God bless you. And go green.
And go white.
This is Sparta MSU is a combined presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. The show is produced by Tony LaBarbera, Tony Gustella, and Process Driven Consulting. Additional support is provided by Brendan Duravage. On-location technical support provided by Good Fruit Video. Be sure to follow our host Jason Strayhorn, Jehuu Caulcrick, and Otis Wiley on social media. To stay up to date with all the latest This is Sparta news, please like and subscribe by visiting our link tree and tell a friend to do the same. Thank you for your support, and as always, go green.